Hey friends, this is the Bev Volfie from our half-acre homestead, and today we're going to do old school lard. The first lard video I did, I added water to my fat and then boiled it. But this time, I'm going to do it old school. Now, really old school would be to cut this all up and then slow fry it in a cast iron pot. But I don't have a cast iron pot big enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all in this stock pot, but it's not a heavy bottom stock pot. So I'm going to do it a double boiler to prevent scorching. But there's going to be no water put in this fat. Okay? So, I'm going to get to grinding that lard. Okay, when I grind when I grind lard, I just use the coarse grind. In the old days, they would just, dice it up. But we've got this lovely Sam Bear grinder here, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I always like to cut, when we're trimming our meat, I always like to cut it in strips that are just going to fit the meat grinder nicely. Okay, so here is my stock pot in a canning pot. The canning pot has a rack in the bottom because this is technically slow frying. And here is probably 10 pounds of pork fat here. Now this apparently makes a much creamier, smoother lard. Although the lard I made from the first pig is beautiful, we're going to do a test. This is also ground fat from last year that I never got a chance to render, so we're just going to drop that in there too. Okay, so we're just going to double boil it in essentially slow frying it. Okay, so this is actually slow cooked all night, and I'm going to strain off the already rendered lard to see if we can get the rest of the fats to cook down some more. Okay, so first, the first straining, I'm going to strain through a rough mesh strainer. You have to be careful, folks. Remember, this is fat. Ah, shoot. And it's extremely hot, so you want to be really careful with the spatter. Now I'm going to dump this back into the stock pot. And when this one has finished draining, I'll dump that back into the stock pot as well, and we'll try and cook it down some more. We want as much of this lard as possible. Okay, so now that we've strained the first part of the lard, I'm going to go ahead and strain it through a fine mesh sieve for the second straining. And we're going to do it really slowly. Right into a jar. And now this jar is hot. It has just come out of the dishwasher. And when you get near the end, there's going to be some small bits that went through the big strainer. We do not want those. We don't want those, and I don't want to put them through the sieve because they just might go through the sieve. So far, we have a half a gallon of lard. I'm going to let this cool while I cook down the rest. And here is the lard that I rendered from the second pig, approximately 6 pounds. And I don't know about you, but it smells differently. It smells differently than the stuff rendered in water. So I think, in all honesty, this is the way I'm going to do it from now on. This is the Bev Volfie from our half-acre homestead saying, dry rendering lard seems to be actually the easiest method. Take care. God bless.